Good morning. My name is Erin Gall, and I'm the chair of the Small Business Committee for the Rocky Mount Area Chamber of Commerce. And we're here with Triangle Risk Advisors, formerly known as MSH Insurance. Everyone's very familiar with David Perronite, but we have a couple more faces that hopefully people are getting familiar with and have been. We've got JM and Jacob. And we're here to celebrate them as Small Business of the Month. As many of you know, growth, additional locations, services are all part of the award, as is community involvement and chamber involvement, which we know is very strong from MSH and Triangle Risk Advisors. Being Small Business of the Month puts you in the running for Small Business of the Year, and that's held at our Small Business Celebration that will be held June 6th this year at Brown Auditorium at Nash Community College. And it also gives you the opportunity to have somebody from your organization represent your company on the Small Business Committee if you'd wish to have somebody there so that they can help give us information and feedback on businesses just like yourself. Triangle Risk Advisors are on 72 Azimuth Court, yes. Right here in Rocky Mount. Can you tell us a little bit about coming to town and how it is joining forces?
Well, having an agency for 35 years, in 2019, you just don't walk out the door when you have an agency. So I needed a perpetuation, and had the good fortune of meeting JM and Jacob, and just felt there was a lot of commonality in our sense of ethics and how we want to run a business, and we worked out a deal. And it's been 4 years now, and it's been great. And I don't regret 1 second. And like I said, do it all over again.
Well, we know that you've been a trusted name, as are you guys. You're constant supporters of the Chamber and other area organizations. If anybody needs any kind of insurance needs, and I mean far more reaching than that, but it's great to have that continuation. It's great to have you guys here in town. I say here in town, but like you said, it's been 4 years, so you've been established. But you're just such a good business to look up to and for people to frame their models around. So thank you so much, and we'd like to present this award to you guys upon your winning, and just say thank you so much for your support, and we look forward to everything else that you guys continue to do in the future.
Well, thank you.
We're joined by Brittany Pettigrew, and Brittany, you are personal lines here.
Yes.
And you also are an ambassador with the Chamber.
I am.
And we're going to talk about some really great things that you all do for the community. Mm-hmm. But first I want to talk about personal lines.
Okay.
I was the beneficiary of personal lines when I had a house fire.
Sure.
And I want to mention to people, people don't like paying for coverage for their houses and whatnot and wonder why it costs so much, because it's replacement value.
Yes.
That's important. I learned the hard way.
Yes.
Kind of talk about some things that you get pushback on and things that you really want people to know, Brittany.
Sure. So especially with the cost of the building supplies and inflation at a high and the housing market kind of growing several years ago, we want to make sure that you do have your home insured for replacement cost. I've been doing this 7 years now. The price for square footage for a home has gone up quite a bit, probably from what I remember in 2016. I think the standard was 108 a square foot, being on the cheaper side. Now most companies are saying to do at least 210 a square foot. So you definitely want to make sure that reflects on your policy, because like in your case and a lot of other cases, people don't realize that they don't have enough coverage until they're in a situation where they can't increase that. So we definitely want to make sure that your replacement cost reflects on just the market today, the supply cost, and then how much exactly it would take to rebuild you, versus 10 years ago, your home has gone up quite a bit in value. So calling your agent and just having them run a replacement cost estimator, it only takes them a little bit of time. It doesn't take anything that's going to be drug out. So our replacement cost estimators, that's going to factor off a few things: the square footage, the construction, how many stories you have. So you definitely want to make sure that you're not underinsured, because that can hurt you in the event of a claim.
Now,
And those-
I was going to say one quick. The one thing she mentioned quickly is so many people talk about the market value. You know, I can only sell my house for $200,000, but to rebuild it might be $300,000
or 400.
or $400,000. So you want to insure it for the rebuild cost. Market value has nothing to do with it,
Right.
Right,
So-
and I'm sure you get pushback on that, but
especially in Rocky Mount.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
The price.
But when you need it, you need it.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
mighty nice to be sure that you're covered. Do a lot of companies send somebody out to walk through a house?
So a lot of the companies, they have their own type of inspection process. Some of the companies only want us as the agent to go out and get exterior photos. If it's a high value home, then your replacement cost estimator is going to tell us that it's a higher value home. I would say most of our companies, their threshold for higher value starts at about $750,000, $800,000, and then you're going to run into, they will send an inspector out to do sometimes an interior inspection as well, just to make sure it's still not undervalued. So most of the preferred carriers, they do have their own system of inspection.
Okay, we've got a couple minutes left, and a big part of winning this award is that we know that you all not only earn money from people, but you give back to the community. You're an ambassador. What are some things that the agency has done for the chamber?
So we were sponsors of the Oyster Roast. That was a big event. I know that a lot of just members of the community look forward to that, and I had a good time. So I was there actually serving.
That's good.
Yes, I was there serving. We were sponsors of that. Something that the chamber did this year that I liked, that was a little different than the coat drive that they've done in the past, is we actually donated blankets to rest homes or rehabilitation centers. So I did get some good feedback on that. I think we got almost 200 blankets that were donated, so I know that we contributed to that as well.
David,
So-
y'all, and of course, as an ambassador, but a lot of the employees here participate in fundraisers too, don't they? They give of their time and talent.
And you probably know better than I, but I know Jessica, and you've gone out and done some things.
Yes.
And I mean, I've over the years volunteered in many things. We're currently serving on the board at Tri-County Industries.
Good.
So, and a lot of, and we're actually getting ready to have a friend raiser for May 18th. So we'll be putting that out there too. But I think, you know, we always want to help our community because it's where we live. You know, you want to meet people and that kind of thing. So, and I think in the insurance business, we tend to like people anyway. So getting out and about is fun.
Sounds good.
It makes you feel good.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Well, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Very happy y'all won this award.
Thank
So
you.
Thank you.
We will see you on the annual banquet.
Perfect.
Thank you. We are really happy to introduce you to the new owners, and David Pure and I is still here. But these gentlemen have added a whole additional set of services and wonderful opportunities that will really help in Rocky Mount, and we're all about helping the Rocky Mount area. So Brian Smith, Vice President with Triangle Risk Advisors. J.M. Dickens, one of the owners of this particular one with Jacob Offen, and glad you're here and welcome to caring about our community and doing all you can to make us the best we can be. Brian, let's start with you, Triangle Risk Advisors. Why is that really a good thing that now y'all are involved with MSH?
Yeah, so we've been here in Rocky Mount since 2019. So we partnered with David back then, and David Pure and I actually have the pleasure almost weekly to go on lunches together and learn from him. But what that's really given the Rocky Mount area in particular was he had already built up a great customer base, and he had already had a great reputation in the area. Where Triangle Risk Advisors came in was to add some additional capabilities, an employee benefits department, employees on staff that specialize in life insurance, that specialize in loss control, additional measures that we have corporately that we now can bring to the existing resources here, the existing team members that are here, David and his team, Jessica Kletz and Brittany Ward and the others, and really bring a more robust solution to our clients. In addition to growing our customer base as well, we certainly want to attract new customers to this model. We do believe we're different than your typical insurance agency in the area and in the areas we serve. So we're excited to learn from David and certainly what's made him so successful, but also bring some of the other capabilities that we've had and picked up along the way, combine those two, and really serve the community here.
Well, and JM, you're basically from this area. You married
Absolutely.
a relative, sort of mine,
Yeah.
and Jacob, you too. But you two are the ones who bought this one and the one in Nashville too. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Great. And what's the name of the one in Nashville?
Insurance Center of Nashville.
Okay. Well, as you work with people here, what kind of are you already seeing, JM, that y'all are able to do to help with training, to help with expanding resources here?
Well, we deal a lot with the farmers too and the ag community in this area, and that was kind of a background that I've had, a background that Jacob's had, and this is a good farming community as well. So that's in our roots, and we feel like we've had a lot of value in that. And the support staff here, you know, we've tried to add more resources, more benefits to the team, and it's just really been a good fit. I mean, the culture in the Rocky Mount, Nash County area is very similar to Franklin County, where I'm from. And I would say the same thing for Lenoir County, where Jacob is from. Mm-hmm. So we just really like Eastern North Carolina. We both met at Eastern North Carolina, so at ECU. So we just really like this area.
Good. So you're kind of in and out here. You aren't here all the time, but we're going to meet David Pierre and I and a lot of people. You kept the majority of the people who people are familiar with seeing, the staff here, right?
Yes, we did. We have a great team here in Rocky Mount. One of the things we look for, what we can bring is capabilities and resources to expand and add more value to our clients, but what we also in search of are good team members. Mm-hmm. And so David already had a great team here and just kind of got it established, really. And so we've been working with all of them and trying to add when necessary.
Mm-hmm. Brian, you and I talked earlier about the resources you're bringing, but also the fact that your ability to advocate as you have more customers with certain companies.
Absolutely. So we, as David was, an independent insurance agency, so are we. So we're proud to represent the insurance companies that we have. When we partnered with
many of them,
many,
lots
correct,
of
yeah.
Okay.
When we partnered with David, another capability that we added was bringing that list of companies that we represent along with us. As we grow organically and through strategic partnerships, we strengthen and deepen those relationships with the insurance companies. It allows us to pick up the phone and call maybe someone higher up that another agency down the road might have a contact that we can reach. I was mentioning earlier, if there's any gray area in the policy or in the relationship with the carriers, we really dive into that gray area and lobby on behalf of our customers. If there's ever an outcome that's unfavorable to our customers, we really push back on that as much as possible, certainly without getting outside the lines. But if there's areas where we can add value, that's where, as risk advisors, our whole team is trying to do that.
And we can always feel like y'all are on our side.
Absolutely.
Right? Great. Well, thank you. Well, we're going to meet some of the local staff, and David Pierre and I is going to join us. And welcome to town.
Yeah,
Really
thank
glad
you.
to
Yeah,
have you.
glad to be here.
Thank you. We're joined by David Pierre and I. David, good to see you again. And Jessica Kletz, who is in commercial lines here. And she's going to educate us. I was really interested in talking to her a little bit ahead of time what that means. And it hit me, Jessica, with what you were saying is people really who are business people, need to find someone like you who can make sure that they're covered in every way they need to be. Kind of tell us, when somebody comes in and they've just started a business or bought a business, how do you help them prepare and know that they're properly covered?
Sure. So when we take in a new client, our approach is much like a medical doctor. We ask a lot of questions about your background, about you, about what you do, about what your business does. And through those conversations, we're able to see where your risks are, and by exploring other information that you may not tie to insurance, like contracts and leases, we're able to see things that maybe you wouldn't have thought about insurance covering that you may be liable for. I think it's very important for a small business owner when they're getting started to find a trusted advisor that they can work with, and that person they should have the same level of trust in as you would with your banker or your financial advisor or even your doctor. small business owners are taking a big leap out there into the world. They're putting a lot of time and money invested into this baby of theirs. And we want to make sure that that stays covered. And I think that from start to finish, you know, we have a good conversation while the wheels are still turning about that business. We can start from the very beginning and help guide all the way through.
And some people probably come to you and they are already established, and there would be different needs maybe at that point than if they're just starting up.
Could be. You know, in general, a lot of the customers are going to be looking at the same kind of policies: commercial liability, workers' comp insurance, and then there might be other specialized products that we discover a need for. Like cyber liability is becoming one that's very important for all business owners, small and large.
And I guess we've learned with Triangle Risk Advisors that you have more companies to choose from, perhaps, maybe, than as it's growing. Or David, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, being an independent agent, we don't represent just one company, and so therefore we don't own 25, 30 in-house. But then if we need to for something specialty, we can go out into the brokerage world. You know, a lot of people would be familiar with the term like Lloyd's, but Lloyd's, that's not a good example. But we have access to many different markets. And what we do, too, is a lot of times this is boring, but read the coverage forms. Because a lot of times
I'm glad you do. I mean, they don't want to do it. They're glad that they can trust somebody to find the things they need to be aware of.
It's not exciting, but it's something that's necessary, because we have claim going on right now where the insured is very surprised what their policies actually say, you know. So, and that's just one of the things we do as an independent agent.
And Jessica, you were here before the new owners bought it, right?
Yeah, I came aboard in 2017, which is about 2 years before Triangle bought us out. So still here when it was MSH.
And you've got to study. I mean, you have to get certified and qualified and whatnot in order to do what you do, right?
You do. You have to be licensed through the state of North Carolina, which is 40 hours of pre-licensing and then 2 state tests. And then it's a continuous learning from there on.
I bet.
Because every customer that you are encountering, you have to learn about that kind of business and what that kind of business needs. So you find yourself learning a little bit more every day and every phone call.
And I get the impression, just I haven't met you before, but you really get excited about knowing you're helping take care of people, don't you?
I do. It's one thing that I truly love about my job is getting to help people and getting to figure out how to come up with a solution to help them.
Great.
I think she worries more about the customer than the customer worries about themselves.
I like that. Yeah, you need somebody on your team who will do that for you. So, well, great. Well, we're going to meet a couple more people. Stay with us. We are joined now by Jordan Winstead. Jordan, welcome to you.
Thank you.
Were you here when David, before the new owners took over?
I was, yes ma'am.
Great. How long have you been in the business?
8 years now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're happy to have her and happy she's staying too, right?
Saved my life.
Dave, before Jordan, and she's going to talk about benefits and how important it is for companies to keep their, and I guess now that people are flipping employees so much, it helps keep them faithful and committed to you if you've got good benefits. But David, you mentioned reading leases on behalf of some of your clients recently. Tell us some examples of things that have happened.
Well, Jessica was talking about reading contracts, and it seems like I get handed a lot of leases, and just briefly gave an example of lease requiring the landlord, the owner of the building, to insure the building, but the tenant to pay for the cost of insurance. Well, the landlord in his mind thought the tenant was buying the insurance, and the tenant wasn't buying the insurance. And I'm just saying the building, in effect, had no coverage on it, and it was about a $10 million building.
Whoa.
And the bank didn't realize what was going on, and then as soon as they did, we pointed out to the insured, you're not insured. So we got it straight. Fortunately, nothing bad happened, but it could have been disastrous.
Well, and that's a good example of why having a relationship with somebody who you can trust, who's got your back.
Yeah, I think so many insureds, until they get to know you, ask, they wonder, why do we need all this information, and we need it because it's a complex world out there. The laws are changing every day. Workers' comp laws are changing, and we need to help our insureds comply with the laws, and that's what she does a lot too. So.
Oh, good. Benefits, Jordan. I often hear people, they're applying for a job. What are the benefits? How do you help people if somebody's new or a new company, or if they're established but they want to revisit whether they're doing the right thing by their employees, how do you handle that?
Yeah, I feel like our department really specializes in being an extension to the HR person or the office manager that's in charge of benefits. Typically, that person already wears a lot of hats, and I feel like we do a really good job at educating the employees of the benefits that are offered. We do personalized benefit booklets and election forms. We also have an online platform that we offer to all of our clients, and just making sure that the employees know their benefits as well as the employer, so that way when somebody is being hired or they're thinking about leaving, they know what they are leaving. So a lot of times when people do leave jobs or they leave for higher pay, they're not realizing the benefits they are leaving behind, and sometimes that pay increase doesn't equate to the benefits that are being currently offered towards them.
You've probably seen a lot of changes through the years. I mean, 8 years is not a long time, but still, what types of things are you seeing that employers really need to address?
I feel like a lot more employers, especially recently in the past probably 3 or 4 years, offered more group life insurance, group short-term disability, group long-term disability. Those have been really popular, especially with COVID and everything that happened with that. A lot of people might be uninsured for group life or for disability, and by the employer offering those benefits to their company, they're able to ask no underwriting questions, and it's guaranteed issued, and it just kind of gives the employee peace of mind that they do have that coverage.
How many different companies do you have to choose from to help people get a good match?
With medical insurance, it's really down to about 4. But with ancillary products and worksite products, there's probably 10 different carriers that we could kind of play with and pick from. And certain carriers play nicer with certain industries than others, and we just try to find the best fit for them. That's important.
But you have a lot of continuing ed.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh yeah.
And do you go places to get it, or are you able to do it like online? Or?
All online, yep. We're able to go online, and a lot of our carriers are very hands-on. So sometimes if I need backup, if I do a group employee meeting or a benefits meeting, a rep will come with me, and he's just kind of a backup, or she's a backup for me, and answer questions for the employees, so that way they feel really good about it.
And I love that you see yourself as a real help person for the HR person, because I've been in HR and they wear a lot of hats.
They do wear a lot of hats.
So to know that you can come in and educate the employees and really work with them.
And a lot of the employees will go to the HR person for benefits questions, so it's really nice, I feel like. So a lot of times the HR person will be like, call Jordan or call Triangle, and it kind of gets it off their plate, so that way they're not having to stop and start their day. Because their door's already revolving as it is.
I mean, the regulation regarding employees is just staggering, and with the platforms and your knowledge, you're able to help a lot of employers stay compliant, or else they could be facing big fines with the Department of Labor, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely. And IRS, and people are not, if employers are pre-taxing benefits and they don't have a Section 125 on file that's not being updated every year, then that's a big...
They get in trouble.
It's a big gap.
Wow. I mean, so do you have things listed that you tell people these things you have to do?
And we have it broken down based off of group size. So 1 to 19, 20 to 49, 50 to, it's all different. So we do have that broken down by employee size.
I'm learning a whole lot here today. I'm glad I'm not running a business anymore. So, but thank you, Jordan.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Very, very qualified for what you do.
Oh, yes, she does a great job.
Thank
Y'all are
you.
lucky to have her.
I really enjoy being here.
Good. We're going to take a break. Bring another one. I hope you're learning as much as I am today, and I think I'm going to learn even more, although a lot of the stuff I've been learning has scared me. But hopefully everybody at home is saying, wow, I didn't know what I didn't know, to be sure that I'm covered and safe as in this changing environment. Bono Nieto, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Bilingual, which is wonderful to have. David, y'all have somebody who can. So you work with people who are Spanish speaking only, and you can communicate well.
Yeah. So a little bit of what I do is I do target the Hispanic clientele, and which has been a very underserved community in my experience, and I work with them to educate them and take a deeper dive into their business, to get to know them and their processes, and just to better understand what they do.
And you cover what areas of insurance?
So I cover commercial insurance, which would be your general liability, workers' comp, umbrella, business auto. Do target mainly construction and trucking. I do have some experience in the hospitality as well, like hotels and restaurants. and but it's mainly construction.
How long have you been here?
Yeah, so I've been a part of Triangle since 2016, straight out of college, ECU. And
Go Pirates.
Go Pirates. And I started as an account manager, so I really learned the back office part, got relationships with underwriters, got to understand the coverages, the processes, and the good thing about Triangle, you could tell them that, you want to explore other options. I didn't feel like being in the office was for me, even though I was very good at it. And I wanted to venture off into sales and into consulting, and they supported me in that regards, and I've been doing this since 2019.
So you're in and out of the office, going and meeting people where they are.
Yes. And I'm out of Goldsboro, so I travel a lot. This is my main office, but I'll travel to. I have clients up to Virginia, so.
So David, this is a great addition to Triangle Risk Advisors, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and Bono does a great job of listening, and he's a lot softer than I am. I'm a little more blunt instrument, and he's able to get information out of people I'm not able to get out of them because the way he postures it and presents it. So I feel like I've learned some things.
And so you probably encounter a lot of people who have absolutely no insurance, and you're the first pass they have for realizing, creating the awareness in them of why they need you.
Yeah, so a lot of the time I'm actually the second person. The first person, usually somebody that didn't do a good job at explaining to them the coverages and why they need them, or explain to them how audits work. And then they get hit with a big audit, and that's usually when I get referred in or they call me, and I go in there and I educate them.
Do you know what we mean by audits?
An audit, I think of the IRS.
Yeah,
it's a different audit.
So insurance is estimated. You give estimations.
Commercial
liability insurance.
And workers' comp,
is pretty much you're just giving an estimate at the beginning of the year, and they'll do an audit at the end of the year. So let's say that you said you're only going to have 100,000 in payroll, and you only had 50. Well, they're only going to charge you for the 50 at the end of the year, and they're going to refund you the rest of the amount, or vice versa. If you had more, they're going to charge you, send you a bill at the end of the year.
And who is the they?
The insurance carrier.
Okay. And do you have quite a few different lines that you can draw from when you help craft what somebody needs?
Yeah. About lines, you mean like carriers
or just agent? I mean, just different companies.
Yeah. We have a variety of carriers that we represent. I'd probably tell you the ones that we don't have more than the ones that we do have, but yeah, we have a whole bunch of resources at our disposal to help our clients and help them protect their balance sheet.
But in the beginning, we talked to Triangle Risk Advisors. We talked to Brian and JM and Jacob, and they were talking about the additional resources that they bring, other than what a local agency had by having that broader reach.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
Yeah, I do. I work with a lot of truckers and contractors, as I said, and and a lot of them just don't have enough help with their compliance, and that's part of with what we help with.
We have Circle of Services.
Yeah.
That sometimes we go outside. There's like for DOT, Department of Transportation, and then HR. Like you need handbooks and what's some of the other
safety manuals.
Safety manuals.
And you can provide those things for them?
Yeah.
Oh, good. What do you have to provide for DOT?
Help the insured comply with all the regulation.
Oh, okay.
And with trucking, with federal, it's unbelievable, the regulation.
So you learned a lot in your time out of school, haven't you?
Yeah, I sure have. Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna. When I first left college, it was just all I knew about insurance was car insurance. So I mean, they kind of threw me into the fire, and I learned well.
And are there new rules and regulations practically every year?
At least, yeah. I mean, it changes. I mean, federal regulation's crazy, and state regulation, and I mean, it's a constant job.
So you have to have somebody whose job that is to learn that, because the average person is overwhelmed with life and doing their job and keeping up with family and whatnot, and to have to be well versed in that is just almost impossible.
Yeah, and Triangle does a great job at making sure we're educated. They strive for us to seek higher levels of education when it comes to getting different designations, and they're really supportive in that way as well.
Great.
And a lot of people might wonder about regulation, but if you think about being sued and they prove that you didn't follow the regulations, then that opens up a can of worms to increase the lawsuit and how much you have to pay. So it's not insurance regulation, but that regulation, being in compliance, is protecting the insured.
Well, and lack of knowing it is not
No,
an excuse.
no.
You don't get anywhere with that.
No.
So glad you got experts. Bono, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate the time. Glad
Oh,
to
you're
meet
welcome.
everybody.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.